Looking for a job isn't easy. It used to be that you could apply at a big name tech company and build a great career for yourself. But times have changed. Many of these companies have gone full woke. And if you aren't the right gender, ethnicity, you don't use pronouns, or if you're not an activist for the preferred cause, then good luck. Why would you risk your career on that? At Red Balloon, we're connecting good employees with top quality companies that value you for your skills and your work ethic, not your social activism score. Employers who post jobs on Red Balloon are focused on creating an enjoyable and productive work culture, free from divisive woke mandates. So if you want to find a serious career path without the nonsense, come to Red Balloon and post your resume today. Because you shouldn't have to choose between your job and your values. That's redballoon.work, where you can find your future.
we don't let Neil count.
No. Hey, all, welcome to Cross Baltic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. My wires are all crossed over here.
You know,
that feels
since
better.
you brought up Neil, you know that Neil believes that Jesus' birthday was September 11th? I just want to say that. He really does believe that.
And that's why you don't get presents, Neil.
And then he took me to Book of Revelations, took it out of context. Numerology was in there. It was weird.
Hey, here's what's crazy. He read from the Book of Mormon to you. I just want you to know that.
No, you did not. Neil, how are you going to get married like that?
Yeah.
Gravity Jack is a full-service digital agency specializing in the development of virtual
and they're in the studio.
Augmented reality experiences, mobile apps, blockchain, Web3 projects, founded in 2009. Wow, you guys have been going for a minute. As the first American agency to offer augmented reality, they even patented it. Gravity Jack's digital experiences have been a source of innovation for small business, Fortune 500 companies, and the U.S. military. So get your vision in motion. We're all getting our vision in motion today.
That's right.
At gravityjack.com. We're so grateful to have Luke and Jen back with us. You guys have come on the show before. Yep. Just come down from Spokane, right? Is that where?
It's a quick trip.
Yeah. So we're
when you're driving fast.
We love it. We love it. We love it. So I got to read this. So Luke, you and your wife Jen are founders of Gravity Jack. Luke, you serve as the Chief Visionary Officer, the CVO.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
I don't think I've heard that one.
As the Chief Strategy Officer, the CSO. Which one of you is really in charge?
Yes.
You guess.
Vision or strategy?
Yeah, maybe. Depends on what we're talking about. Yeah. So you guys have this new platform out called Start Engine.
Well, that's not theirs.
Okay.
It's not there.
You're working with it.
Yes.
Tell us about Start Engine. It's funding a new video game, which we're all really excited to hear about as well. Talk to us about Start Engine.
So startengine.com is a crowdfunding platform. Actually, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, they actually acquired another crowdfunding platform. So they are the largest right now. Actually, Kevin Leary, one of the sharks, is now involved in the whole ecosystem. So it enables companies. It's a very rigorous process too. I mean, I'm thinking they're going to ask them for my firstborn going through the process because it is an SEC offering. It's essentially a public offering.
And so they own Luke Jr. They own Luke Jr.
They were trying to own him.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It was worth it. Luke was fine with it.
I got lots of kids. That's one.
Sorry, Luke. Sorry, Luke.
Okay, so they're a crowdfunding investment platform. So you guys had to go through like the C Corp, rules, regulations to be able to accept investing in the first place. Is there any distinction between like just being able to accept normal, regular investing or crowdfunding investing? Is there a difference there?
It's pretty significant. So if you're going crowdfund, you could take non-accredited investors, and you could have a low point of entry,
like $250 or something. What's y'all's point
Ours
of entry?
Ours is 348.88.
Okay.
And it's just based on like a share price.
So $388 point of entry versus like big investors. The entry point is where at?
Well, when we've done typical rounds, we've raised for other companies. We've raised in Gravity Jack. We usually have like a minimum of like 25,000, 50,000, but you're going for accredited investors. And that process is not as rigorous. I mean, this is equivalent to almost going public with the company. I mean, the things that the bookwork, we have to get everything in line. I mean, they investigate everything. Everybody gets background checks.
Yeah.
You
passed.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. yesterday.
And from a company lens, Start Engine actually they take a percentage of the raise as well, but they're handling all of that paperwork behind the scenes. We get to offer different levels of perks and tiers within the offering. And I say we offer it to the people. Start Engine handles all of that back end piece, which is
their
valuable
team
to us.
is amazing. Like
really
these guys, they're friendly, they're awesome. Because you're going through this very tense, rigorous process, and it could be, I could imagine you could get really stressed out. It was still, you're like, whoa, am I going to get approved? Is this going to go through okay? And they just step you through it, the whole thing, because it's the SEC. Nothing's easy.
So why'd you guys do this? Why Start Engine?
The reality is the venture cap market is a little bit dry, and
really,
and crowdfunding is almost, it's not gangbusters, but it's a definite source of possibility for funding. And we kind of preceded the VC route and the institutional, and the valuation they wanted to give us, we're like, nah, we're not, like, I'm not going to sell you my company for that. Our company.
And VC is aggressive. I mean, they get really aggressive, and they start telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, who to do it for.
Okay.
And the crowdfunding is not the same.
So this allows you to retain quite a bit of autonomy as a company and do it how you want to do it.
Yeah, because they're all proxy voting, so they essentially vote with the largest shareholders.
I see.
So they're adding an element of trust, but there's this really strong due diligence that occurs so that the non-accredited investor is protected.
And like you said, we've been around since 2009. So we're not a startup. We've been doing this a while. However, the use of funds specifically for this raise, that we'll get into what it's for this really awesome game. Now we have an opportunity for people who will be using the game to be a part of it. They can be a part of, having some of the early perk or some of the different types of perks and tiers will allow some of those crowdfunding investors to decide on some of the game mechanics. We'll open it up and have private forums within the GJ investors on the Start Engine platform for, putting different components within the gameplay.
Now, so you guys are not a startup, as you say. You've been around for a bit. You have been successful as a business. What about for startups? Is this an option that you think is worth a startup company looking into?
Yeah, absolutely. We're kind of talking about how grueling it was, but honestly, it forced us into just a really good spot. Like, we're in a good spot with how we're tracking things. We're in a good spot with our team. It aligns you to make sure that everything's appropriate, really well done.
I think it's healthy accountability.
Yeah.
So even for a startup, it's not just, here's my hockey stick. Business plan. We're gonna go big to the moon, and it's like, let's get real. And again, you go through that compliance, and you go through the accounting, and so it would benefit them getting all those ducks in a row.
And honestly, who would you? And we've got a really cool dividend program we're doing.
That's all aspect.
And who would you rather have that? Like, as a business owner, I'm like, would I rather have people that are, potentially going to be playing the game, or would I rather have some VC who really just hates me in the end?
Right.
Like, ultimately,
right.
I'm just a number, I'm just a block, and I'm a percentage of performance.
One of the things we've talked a lot about is just sort of like the necessity of Christians building kind of this parallel economy, alternative economy. Is that a part of this play too? I'm hearing like you're thinking we're getting investors who care about our product, who believe in our product, not somebody who just is trying to make money or doesn't care, or maybe even hates me. Is that what you're also finding in this?
Oh, absolutely. There is a whole Web3 component too that we're doing in the background. So we're not talking about the Web3 stuff. But the value exchange and the mechanism behind the game is all blockchain based. There's cryptos involved, but we're not doing anything. We're not selling a crypto, and we're selling stock in our company.
Right.
And we don't want any attention from the SEC that's negative. Look, hey, the technology works, but you really want this capability that, moms can use without actually thinking about it. And Web3 as it is now is just for nerds like me. You have to understand how to add a custom coin and all this stuff. So we're just toning it way down, making it super easy. And nobody will actually even know that this is blockchain in the back end.
Wait.
The nerd in me just clicked out right there. I was like,
So can you talk about it? You can. You can talk about it. You're just not. You're not just advertising it. But this is on the video game side, or is this on the investment side?
Yes,
the video game side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about?
I'm still so interesting. Yeah, hang on. The interesting thing I find about Start Engine is like you can go and invest in your company. I actually brought it up on Start Engine.
It's not about you, Gabe.
And
I see what you're doing here.
But it's like
Gabe, you got
it's like the stock exchange a little bit in a sense that like I can invest in actual physical companies.
Yep.
And then they, Lord willing, grow and give dividends back on my returns.
Yep.
But I'm not going stock market. I'm going actual physical companies I trust. And like you said, get excited about the services that they're providing or the video game experience
That's
or whatever.
exactly. So you click that button, go ahead.
Yep. I got to log in. I got to log in.
Feed the beast, man.
I got to log in. I've not signed up to Gravity. I've not signed up to Start Engine
I
yet.
can look you through it.
Are you done? But I'm looking at a bunch of the options. Like there's all these things that you can. I guess you can invest in.
Yeah.
Like
It's
Splash
like a mini Start
wines. I can invest in wine right here.
Is this like a Kickstarter kind of setup then?
Different though, because Kickstarter. I mean, to be on Kickstarter, I mean, you could just create an account today and,
Right.
and put
Right.
a
Well,
product
no one
on
gets
there and
return
sell
on
t-shirts.
what they give on Kickstarter.
Well, it depends
No,
on what they give them.
Yeah, it depends on what they give them. Usually it's like, oh, you're going to get a shirt if you help us this, if we
Yeah.
get to this tier. That's the big differentiation between something like Kickstarter and Start Engine, because you are earning shares in the company with Start Engine. That's why
you're not just giving to something that you want to see
You're not just
happen.
like, oh, this is cool,
Yeah.
here you go. No, you are
Yeah.
receiving shares in the company. Dividends go out if that's the way
That's
that they're
rad.
trying to get
There's a
people
hot
returns.
sauce company you can invest in right here. Yep.
You know,
Puff and Pepper.
What kind of shares would I get in what y'all trying to do?
Well,
Well, just click that button over there. Get everybody.
So what do you guys have on Start Engine? That's what I want to get at. What's going on here?
so you guys aren't. Well, I think clarity there too. You
Yeah.
guys aren't funding Gravity Jack. You're funding a video game that you're developing within Gravity Jack.
Both ends.
Yes. So
Well, both
everybody's.
ends. Yeah, I mean,
Both end.
But are you selling shares to actual Gravity Jack?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
We,
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
so
a lot of.
I'll be right back.
yeah.
So that's the cool part. So we've got this patent portfolio that we're monetizing, the licensing, that is all growth for us. It just continues to grow. So people are licensing our patents, really big companies, Samsung, T-Mobile, Eighth Wall. And then we've got our agency side. That piece is growing. We've got a really aggressive strategy to grow that. And then additionally, now this is this new effort. And a video game just costs a lot to develop. And so essentially, this is what is getting funded by people buying a part of our company, but they get access to all, the revenue that comes through.
Found it.
Well, and a lot of people.
Gravity Jack.
A lot of people will do, in a situation potentially like ours where they would. So WarTribe of Binyamin that we'll get to is the game that we're going to be creating. So a lot of people will do a spin-off and then, you're investing in that spin-off or that other arm of it, if you will. And a lot of thoughts, prayers went into it, and all our chips are in. So why wouldn't we offer that to everyone? And so it's really about all of Gravity Jack, not just, hey, this new thing we're doing. It's all of it. And we just felt very, very clear that was the path that we were supposed to take.
I'm sitting here logging in.
Yeah,
I'm trying. Are you trying to do it?
I'm reading.
Okay.
I'm reading it.
It's
I'm just.
super
You guys
easy.
mocked me, and now
No, hey, be quiet. Be quiet. Gabe, be quiet.
StartEngine.com.
So tell us about WarTribe. What? Let's just. Or should we watch the video first? Should we watch?
I want to watch the video. I haven't seen the video yet.
Roll the video. Roll the clip.
Hi, I'm Luke Ritchie. Wrong timeline.
Okay, that's better. Time travel mechanics can get a little bit tricky. I'm Luke Ritchie, Chief Visionary Officer of Gravity Jack. In 2009, we founded Gravity Jack and essentially patented AR. What I'm about to tell you about is a vision that was 14 years in the making. WarTribe of Binyamin. This is a game that feels so real, it might be. It's a genre-defining game for AR and mobile and the Apple Vision Pro. We've integrated artificial intelligence not just into the characters in the game, but actually in the business model of WarTribe. So I love augmented reality games. They're one of my favorites. But the problem is it seems like they've added AR as an afterthought into the game. What if you sat down for 14 years and planned the entire thing around augmented reality? Games make a ton of money, and typically that money doesn't end up in the pocket of the players. We intend to change that. Lastly, and this is important, half the world has never and never will be targeted by big tech for an AI, natural language processing engine. We're definitely going to change that. WarTribe of Binyamin has gameplay like you've never seen before. We have portals opening everywhere, we have holographic communication, but what's really cool too is the world of 2133 is accurately geo-overlaid on the world of today. We're laser focused on ROI for our shareholders, which is you. One of the things we're doing that's super unique that's never been done before is taking 10% of in-game revenue monthly and giving it off as a dividend. The other co-founders and myself started Gravity Jack in 2009, but in 2007 we'd actually sold our company to a gaming company. We've hired the best of the best in terms of game development. our director of development, product designer are all veterans in the gaming space. And not only that, we're going after a market that's gigantic. We're combining 4 huge major markets: artificial intelligence, augmented reality, translation, and gaming, all for a combined market value of $1.85 trillion.
Our incredible history has led us to be experts in mobile development, augmented reality, AI, gaming, and computer vision. It's been a wild ride here at Gravity Jack. A benefit to being so early on in augmented reality has led to a robust patent portfolio with active revenue and more to come. We've had the privilege of working with clients such as Oscar Mayer, Kraft, Lincoln, Samsung, T-Mobile. We've also worked on non-lethal Department of Defense contracts as well. We were a reference developer for Meta on the Oculus 2 directly, creating a game where other developers look to our source code for best practices. Early on in Gravity Jack's history, we did a game for Double Down Casino, and at the end of that contract, it was grossing $35 million a month. Our robust history has led us to be experts in augmented reality, AI, gaming, computer vision, and mobile development. Play to earn opportunities for the impoverished create an AI language model for unreached people groups, allowing us to have an eventual monopoly on speaking to half the planet. Our focus is shareholder dividends immediately after the game and into the future to create a game that's going to blow the world's minds. And we're pulling people out of poverty and into productivity. So what's the ask? Join the Binyamin.
There's an end credit.
Hey, I'm Luke Ritchie. Not again.
That's funny. So, Jen, how many push-ups did Luke have to do before he went on set?
He wakes up
I
like
haven't
that.
been able to work out for like 4 months.
This is natural. It's just natural. The veins is natural. Okay.
Oh my god! No, that's fantastic. And those are both your kids?
No, not the little one.
Oh, okay,
The older
okay.
one is our son. The little one's some friends of ours.
Okay, yeah. Well, it was great. He was a great stunt double.
So tell me about the game.
Stunt
This is
triple.
intriguing. Tell me about the game. How does it work? It's a complete AI. Well, okay. First of all, you guys aren't afraid of AI, and you're out. You've seen what was coming with AR. So I don't know where to start here. Can we talk about what you see coming with AI and how it plays into the game?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh,
Maybe
those
high
are,
level on the game.
yeah, those are two kind of distinct.
Don't lose me.
Okay, I'm just nerding out. I'll talk about the goggles that I think I need for AR. We'll talk about that in a second. But
With AI, we're actually training 2 complete AIs, much like ChatGPT, a little more powerful and non-woke. That's really specific.
And it loves Jesus.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, because
wow.
Chat GPT hates Jesus. You can make fun of Jesus, but not Muhammad. All that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So ORU, one of our partners in this, Oral Roberts University, we're actually training from their library. So it's Oswald Chambers, Tozer, like just
Calvin.
Westminster.
Is Westminster Confession in there?
I was just going to ask, where's the
No, we
Presbyterians at?
deleted it non And
just that part about baptizing babies. Just,
Come on, bro. Do your boys solid.
the first stage of our AI will actually be for the students. So they'll actually be able to just query like the greatest theologians as an AI. So that's, but it's also our character. So the name of the game, WarTribe of Binyamin, is the 12th tribe of Israel. So Binyamin is, and I pronounce it wrong, but we do that on purpose.
Okay.
It's the tribe of Benjamin.
Right.
Actually, the little boy at the end, his name is Benjamin. He's the
Nice.
reason I started investigating the whole tribe, and it's in the lore. So we're going for a very C.S. Lewis type play.
Love
of
this.
pulling the lore in, but it actually fits in. I mean, this is it just fits because we're talking about translation and we're talking about Pangea before the fall of the Tower of Babel. And we're bringing it all back around. Like the whole goal of this game is to be able to translate into any language across the planet.
Using AI. Using AI.
AI. Yeah.
Translate what?
Well, everything.
Okay.
But it starts with
The game. So you can get the game in other languages.
Yeah.
Well, backing it up like super high level of what the game is.
Yeah.
This is going to be a mobile game.
Okay.
iOS, Android, for global reach. This isn't just for the US. It really is for the whole world and needs to be when you have these translation pieces. But it's going to have, so you're going to be highly encouraged to unite, to work together, to fight together. And the bad guy is an artificial intelligence named Azazel. So you have the bad guy is Azazel, which is a real AI. The good guy is the Yamin, is a real AI. that we were just discussing will be trained.
Yeah.
So those are the high level entities there. We, as the human race, need to unite together to fight the bad guy or to fight Azazel. And there's going to be augmented reality gameplay. There's going to be all kinds of incentivizations within the game to have people across the globe. So if I'm here in the US and I've got teammates in Malaysia and Hong Kong and Brazil, you'll actually get increased gameplay because your teammates are global. And then there's going to be in-game quests.
So it's like DEI.
What DEI?
What?
What's DEI?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Negative. Somebody mute the mic.
It's like there's some sort of social credit score.
That's what you got from that, huh?
Okay, no.
Wrong cosmology, bro.
All of humanity, we're supposed to unite, right? And so some of the quests in game, so in the US, there's going to be totally different quests. Like our son, he's 18, plays games, he's a big spender. Everybody in the US is. So their type of, they'll be paying to play, right?
Yeah.
But if you have villages in Africa, Iran, wherever, and side note, there's a 94% penetration rate with mobile devices worldwide. So you can be in a tiny remote village and they've got mobile phones. It's crazy with connectivity and they're sitting there gaming.
Right.
So in those scenarios, they can actually have in-app, in-game quests. And this is where the translation piece comes in. So they will have real documents like, you know, the first chapter of Moby Dick or The Great Gatsby or the first chapter of John. And they're just going to be translating to their language and earning in-app currency that they then will be able to extract out. That was where
Like real money. Like,
extract out with digital currency. That's where that parallel economy piece comes in.
Yeah, so when you talk about reaching unreached people groups and how you're pulling people out of poverty, that's how you.
That's how it will be an entirely new way. And we really believe this is going to be the starting point. It's going to be a new way that people can earn revenue.
and you're saying they're actually doing real translation,
Absolutely.
like real
100%.
translation work, and so which it actually needs to be done. Like they actually probably don't have these things in their language.
So there's 7,200 languages worldwide. Presently, big tech targets the top 100 languages, and that's half the planet, really. They don't really have a monetary incentive to do the rest of the planet because most of the people in those 7,100 languages speak one of those other 100. So they're like, we don't need to target that. But you can't just forget about them.
And they're also typically in the poverty to ultra poverty range.
Yeah.
Right.
So for Google to target them, why would I target 25,000 people that are really poor?
They ain't got no money. Why would we? Why we care?
But what happens is we're creating a value exchange. We're paying them and essentially doubling their revenue per month. We start to uplift them, and then we actually create a productivity quotient for them, which actually brings them into the economy. And so it's what's called a Nash equilibrium, and we've applied game theory across this to where we pull these people in. Now they actually start adding. So because now they have access to the information in their heart language, and everything changes your educational capability, the way you receive the word of God,
Wow.
the way you receive products.
I was going to say, have you?
The gospel going everywhere. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm thinking immediately of have you guys talked to Wycliffe Bible translators? Like,
Funny you say that.
they're
A couple of them are actually going to be staying with us.
are you serious?
Yeah. We did. We talked with them, and then SIL is another group with them.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we have a Bible translator at our church, on staff with our church, Chaba Leidenfrost.
So the Bachway people.
Yeah, he's been translating. He finished the New Testament for the Bachway in the Ivory Coast.
I love this.
And he's working on Genesis now. He's just started the Old Testament.
So check this out. This is how we jumped the whole shark of the way SIL's been and Wycliffe
Which
has
side
been
note,
doing this.
they are amazing,
Yes.
fantastic. Love everything.
We're
doing.
talking
So
to their
no
top
criticism.
leadership right now, and they're, like I said, they're coming to stay with us. But how their methodology is, they go into a place, they learn the language a missionary does, and a missionary translates.
That's
the
what
word.
Chaba Leidenfrost does.
He's been doing it for 30 years.
35 years, yeah.
And then if there's no written language, they have to create one, and then
Which
that's
he
what
did.
He did.
Which he did.
He created an alphabet and everything.
Yeah. So guess what? So they ran an experiment, and they ran this with another institute. I can't name their name right now. And this is where this is coming from. So, and they tested this. Could you do this with secular people translating the Word of God?
Yeah.
And would you get a valid translation? And so it's this. You pay the person that translates, and then you pay four other people to verify.
Yeah.
And there's a mechanism to there's incentive to kind of make the best
right
translation
answer.
for
It's like
all
its
of
own
it.
blockchain in one sense.
Yeah.
And so they did it 4 times, and it worked every time. And then the SIO people verified, like, oh, this is a great translation of the Word of God. Like, this works.
Wow.
So now they can just literally, and here's the crazy part that we're adding. So one of the elements that we're adding, we're adding the financial mechanism. They closed off the experiment because it was too expensive. You can't, the amount of money it costs to get one translation, it was just, so the game does this.
Yeah.
We're just pulling off, but we're receiving a value exchange because actually our shareholders now own the ability to speak to those people that are being brought up into productivity.
Right.
And I'm missing one component too on this.
This is amazing.
So it's part of the AI capability. So I'm inside, WarTribe playing, and I got a teammate in the Ivory Coast, the Bakwe teammate, and I can speak in English, and it translates to him, and he can speak, and so we can talk to each
once
other.
We have that language done in our NLP, so natural language processing engine. So when you go on to Google Translate and you're traveling to whatever, Italy, and you're needing to ask a question, and you type it in, it pops it out in Italian. That's a natural language processing engine, that process.
Yeah.
So we will be creating that for each of these different languages. So the translation isn't necessarily the focus to be able to speak to each other. That's beautiful, and that will be so fun.
Yeah.
But the process, especially initially in the first few years, will be the creation of the engine. And the key for some of their struggles is the verification. You know, I can't just have one guy translate it and be like, yeah, that's accurate. The penta verification system.
You've got to have it multiple verification.
And the whole purpose of an AI, not the whole purpose, but a big component of an AI is that it's learning.
Yeah.
It's getting better and better and better over time. So the more of these translations.
It's like Wikipedia.
Exactly.
And I actually remember the part I forgot.
What'd you forget?
So crazy. So there's about 3,000 of those 7,100 languages that are oral only. Mm-hmm. And so the people would have to create a written language, and then that's this whole other struggle. So we're actually oral to oral AI NLP translation is actually more accurate than text to text. And so we will be doing first an oral to oral mechanism, natural language processing engine, and then we will automatically generate the lexicon for the written language and the training materials for those people groups.
Wow.
So
it'll create the alphabet.
The AI will create the system of reading, reading,
so
writing.
it'll create the alphabet, and how will it create like the alphabet in their language, because our alphabet's A, B, C, D.
We'll probably use a Cyrillic, or if we're in an Eastern area, use something similar that is related to
that's
the people
identifiable.
Groups. And this is one of those other elements that we're adding. We're adding the financial piece. Like, here's how we permanently pay for this forever. And then second, here's how we jump all these sharks at you guys. Because they're like, hey, we have 140 years left before we get the Word of God translated to the rest of the planet. I'm like, let's do it in 5.
And the timing, if you think about it.
That's post-mill.
So is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying the timing, it matters when you put the context together, where now we have these devices that they have in these villages, that they have connectivity, that they already game. So it's, you have all these pieces together, and it's now pulling it together. Even the AI in the capacity that it is now, people talking about it, hearing about it, it's like all the timing elements are now.
So are there other? So besides the translation, what are the other missions involved in the game? So is it just translation, or there's a bunch of other stuff?
So many other things.
Yeah.
Like we're sitting here, if we opened our game and once it's developed here, we won't see any of those translation quests that you would see.
That would be in another country.
Right. When you're geofenced in that country and in that language, that's what would open up to them.
Okay.
There's all kinds of different things that, especially us here in America, the quests and the fun things that we would do to be playing.
Like
the
what?
game-
Like
the
what would be some
gameplay-
stuff like in America? If I get your game.
This is awesome. So
And Pete's Joe Biden.
yeah.
Is that in the game?
Well, we got to give him a different name.
Can I impeach him in the game?
Go ahead.
So you imagine that you start the game, right? The first thing you have to do is renounce Azazel. And then you have to say that I am a son of the right hand. I am a Binyamin.
Oh,
That's a covenant from the beginning.
Yes. Azazel, by the way, means goat demon in Hebrew.
Yeah,
So-
we added an I for AI.
Okay.
I like what's happening.
That's that lore. That's that C.S. Lewis woven.
That's good. I see what you're doing there.
Getting
I
past
like
those watchful
this.
dragons. I
see
love
that.
it.
And then you take back your home. So there's a very mirroring.
Take back your home.
You take
Come
back
on
your
now.
home. So because you have to create an omni energy source. So the story is Yaman divided the languages. And the sons of the Yaman have been here waiting for the war, right? He sent everybody to 2133, and we're mirroring 2133 off the kind of the spiritual realm. And so you'll actually be able to see the world of 2133 accurately geo-overlaid. So if you're at the Space Needle, you'll see
So let me pause there really quick. What he means by geo overlay, you hold up your mobile device in the game. You have a pass-through camera mode. So when you're in whatever, downtown Seattle, downtown LA, you're just looking with your camera, but it overlays an augmented reality.
It's a whole nother world.
We've created a whole world with AI. So that's what we're like. We've literally taken Google Maps and changed it into this fallen world.
Wait. This is the perfect time for my question.
We didn't change it. I mean, we already are a fallen world.
Perfect time for my question. So then if I had AR glasses with my phone in the game, which ones do I need?
Well, in America, we're going to be definitely pushing the Apple Vision Pro. Like this is the demarcation why we're doing the game now.
Okay.
No more kids, I guess.
Yeah, you're going to want to keep having them.
No, stop. All right, yeah.
Start Engine's going to want one when you go on there.
Okay, that's true. That's a good point. All right, so the whole world is overlaid. You can see it in your phone. The whole new world, everything is going to be. That's a lot of production.
So and it's actually not that difficult, believe it or not. Like we've ran some tests and we're essentially just creating this 3D realm. But the cool part is it's real. So if you're at Seattle, you're always seeing the same information. And then as you own it, as you take it back and you add Omni energy sources for the Yaman, he starts to own that territory. And so the light comes back. And so you'll be able to
buildings repair and all that stuff.
Yeah, and so you'll also be able to walk down the street of your neighborhood and you'll be able to see who plays. Unless people turn it off for privacy, but you'll be able to see, hey, that house is like there's light coming out of it. This is like they're a son of the right hand.
And then so some of that in that video where you saw the portals happening where they were jumping through. Yeah. So you're in 2133 where Azazel is essentially owning it, right? So we're trying to fight here and now in 2023 and beyond to prevent that destruction of 2133. And so there's time travel things occurring within the game. So you could hold up your device to the ceiling and there's a portal that opens up and something comes down.
And then like Pokemon Go, people will go to a place like, let's take this park back.
That was what I was thinking of was Pokemon when you were talking about, I didn't do it, but I remember we lived across from the park here in town. And I remember we watched people going through the park, and they're like, oh, what's wrong with that? Oh, it's Pokemon.
That is
so funny. How do you take ground back in the game? So I log into the game, I renounce, I make a covenant, and then
Knox is like, I'm all in.
I'm in. I take my home. So what does that mean? Take my home
back? Knox wants Minneapolis back.
Yeah,
that's what
you have to battle the stuff that Azazel's releasing in your home.
Oh,
and then you add the Omni energy source, and then at that point, other people, even when they come in, can take, like, it's just this shared economy, not communist or anything, or whatever, DE, whatever.
DEI.
So how do I get this source?
The mechanics are a little iffy, but you'll plant one.
Oh, okay.
And so you'll have an Omni energy source sitting in your living room, and people will, if they see your house is lit and they're low on energy and they need to go fight, they can actually like load up on that energy.
Oh, nice.
And if your neighbors start to get it, you'll actually be a little stronger when you go to take your home.
And again, this is very much community and unity. So a lot of the Pokemon Go stuff, like you'd go to the park and you'd collect whatever.
Yeah.
You kind of showed up together and kind of looked at each other.
Yeah, but you didn't actually work together.
Not necessarily. You kind of sat there and tapped your phone at a little thingy, dragon thing.
Got him.
Yeah, this will be very different where you will have to work together.
You'll all be seeing the same thing. Like you'll see the bot, like you're fighting the little minions at first. We're calling them Jin. And then the big boss comes through and you all have to defeat it together. And like even remote people are helping. Fight
and that's where they can come in with different weaponry and different things like that.
What kind of weapons?
Oh, we've got all kinds. There's some really interesting. Well, we're also trying to include genre of gameplay. We call it genre busting. So people that like puzzles, we're going to have a form of hacking. So this is like you're playing a puzzle, but you're also hacking the code that Azazel's sending back. And then people that just like hack and slash and want to hit stuff with laser beams and and again, some of those mechanics are still in play.
What was the other big game that was? It's probably still the biggest game in the world. The where everybody logged in and they were fighting.
Fortnite.
I was thinking Fortnite. Is that still really massive? I don't know.
Yeah, they're still making.
They're doing.
I'm sure they're doing all right.
But there's some similarities. I mean, they're like because there's people like real people are logged in on the same game and
talking to each other.
Is some similarities.
The only difference there is that they don't really have a geo play.
Right.
They don't have a real world physical.
I see.
Like
that's a meta world. That's a fake world. Okay.
There's one other element that we've developed that is super unique, and this is. just in terms of game mechanics. So during COVID, we got paid to do a social distancing app. Like I didn't believe in it, whatever. But I'm like, hey, you want to pay me $500,000? I'll do this.
Plunder the Egyptians, my bro. I'm
We,
sorry. Anyway.
we told him that we were very clear, like,
We don't
Yeah.
buy
don't
this.
buy this, but we'll create it for you. So
And what it did is, I walked near you, whether you had the app or not, I could tell that somebody was close.
Unclean. Unclean. Is that what it did?
Yeah,
Unclean.
You get a buzzing and you'd be like, "Oh, somebody just burst my bubble." But,
wow.
And so you could run away, in fear and terror of nothing. But what we've done is we've actually applied this now into the game mechanics of the game. So now imagine you walk into Starbucks and you get a notification, "Hey, there's 3 other Binyamin here." And I actually, because of what we've done, we actually can tell you how many people aren't Binyamin also.
based on
and
their device.
Even
So
if
it's
you're,
a ping
even if these
that's
people have their
happening.
Wi-Fi turned off and their Bluetooth turned off, we're actually using BLE and Wi-Fi direct signaling. And
No, you just got a little afraid right there. just got a little afraid. Gonna need a lot more energy
Here we go.
sources. Gonna need a lot more energy sources.
you
I'm
can
just
turn
saying.
all this off though too, but you'll say, "Hey, there's 4 people here that aren't saved." So,
Oh, interesting.
and we might not use that nomenclature we're talking about it because I don't really want to step too far. Like I'm praying about all this stuff.
Starting to,
It's a secular game.
who's saved and who's not.
But so you'll be able to actually go and you'll receive a reward if you get them to download the game, so that you can get everybody there playing and fight the bad guys. Take back Starbucks. Impossible.
Fortnite brought in about $6 billion in 2021.
Okay, can I
wrap your head around
I'm
it.
still stuck at there's so much going on here. You guys are doing so much. I love the narrative that you guys have built around this, but I kind of want to go back to the financial aspect that's kind of in the back end a little bit, and then come back to the game a little later. I'm thinking about the investment side. So someone who is in another country who is looking, you guys said you're double their monthly income off of working to translate, right? How does that process actually work? Where's the money coming from? How does it payment? What's that work like?
So they're in game in said country.
Yeah.
They pull up the quest in the game, and it'll just be a snippet of text.
Okay.
They may not even really know what book it's from or whatever, and then they translate it. Another one pops up, and then they translate it, and so they earn in-game coins, tokens. We haven't fully landed on.
Yeah.
Let's just call it coins. So in Binyamin coins, and then within there, you can extract that in-game currency out into a digital currency, and then pull it into your local.
And so that's what you were talking about in the back end, the nerd stuff that you geek out on. So it actually turns into some sort of like a Bitcoin or something like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Bitcoin will be in it.
And you can actually just then translate it, cash it out into your own checking account.
Exactly.
And so, and so the more that I guess you would say people who have money play, the more they're going to need translation. That drives then the market for people to. Is that right?
They're a little segregated, if you will,
Okay.
because the U.S. population who's paying to play, that's revenue like Fortnite's $6 billion.
Right.
That's just in-game revenue. The company has the revenue. WarTribe will actually be paying, or Gravity Jack will be paying those players in those countries earning. So they'll foot that bill, if you will, because it's value. That's the value exchange where Gravity Jack's going to be getting that NLP, that natural language processor. So we're paying the players in Zimbabwe, Nigeria, wherever.
Yeah.
We're paying them because they're giving us that value exchange for that
you.
NLP. So it's worth it to us.
Okay.
And later on, another revenue stream for Gravity Jack at large will be just everyday translations into those languages. So say Nike has a campaign that they want to go to more than just 100 languages, wherever. They're in South America and they want to hit all these languages. Nike will come to us. They'll pay us, whatever amount to translate their marketing campaign.
And we'll have a monopoly on
or whatever it is.
We're giving
Right.
that to half the planet.
Will there be things in America that you can do for money? Not in America.
We haven't decided yet.
Okay.
We actually have been thinking about using the penta verification mechanism to verify other things. Like, did you show up at that park, you fight the battle, maybe you clean it up. Like, or you do a food drive, but that's verification
interesting.
mechanism.
Incentivizing,
Yeah.
Yeah, incentivizing to do good, though, not just necessarily,
Right.
I beat this boss level, I'm going to earn some real money.
The reason I'm thinking about this, and I'm trying to understand this, is because you have Bible Tyndale translation. You have all that stuff that's right. Did I say that right?
Wycliffe.
Wycliffe. I'm sorry, Wycliffe.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking about all the right now missions is such a hard thing. It's challenging, especially with COVID. It got really challenging. But with this, like it doesn't have any limits. It goes everywhere, and it does. And if like 94% of the penetration with cell phone, like, then why wouldn't the SBC take a large part of what they send out to invest in something like this that gets the message out there and starts to like seed the ground in countries that they can't even get access to?
I think
is that a valid plan?
Yes. Is the simple answer is yes. It's just that traditional mindset and breaking that, which is like with Wycliffe or of the like, where it's harder for them to go, oh, a non-believer translating that. They hesitate, which is why that verification component is so key. But they're not they're becoming more and more open to that. And there will be an element of boots on the ground, if you will, in those countries. Yeah, even the extraction mechanism of getting it out of the in-game currency into their, yes, you can get it into Bitcoin, and then from Bitcoin into their local currency. So that aspect, we think will need some boots on the ground. Not saying GJ or Gravity Jack is going to own that.
Sure. I'm just thinking of like so many, like we had Chaba on, and it was like 20 years.
Yeah.
It's 30. Yeah.
30 years. 30 years. To get the New Testament, and you're saying 5? I'm
For
like,
all of them.
Do not hold him to that timeline.
Here's the visionary. Here's the strategy.
I have faith with you. In 5 years, God's gonna do it. Okay, so then, all right. What do you guys need? How do we invest in something like this? And what are the benefits of investing? I know we didn't get a chance to talk about that, but how do you invest? What are the benefits of investing?
I'll say the how and you say the what. How, honestly, super easy. You go to startengine.com, find Gravity Jack on there. You will have a link. Yeah. You go in, you create an account, and you purchase. I went through the process myself to make sure, it's super. There's
a button that says invest now.
Honestly, it's super easy. You create an account like you're buying a pair of shoes in Nordstrom's. Enter in your information, your credit card, boom, you have it. If it's investments over a certain threshold, it has to be a wire transfer. I think it's like 10,000 and up. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. But there is some threshold where it does have to then be a wire transfer. Yeah. But anything ACH sub that, super easy.
It doesn't matter how little or how much.
Our lowest buy-in is 348 and change.
Okay,
48.88.
So really, you can get in at 348. Yeah. Wow,
I know. It's super easy.
What would be kind of like the anticipated, projected ROI?
It's pretty significant. So,
oh wow,
one of the things I'm not allowed to actually say like direct numbers.
Yeah, right.
But I will
per
give
the
you
SEC.
Per the SEC. But I can tell you when we did Double Down, when we handed it off to the client, like Jen mentioned, it was doing $35 million a month. We are really, really good at extracting revenue from strong economy players because we know what incentivizes them. And that's
because you guys have already been through this process before with in-game experiences and all this stuff.
Yeah, many times. So our shareholders ultimately, and we're doing something that's never been done before. Well, several things that have never been done outside of the technology. One, we're doing weekly Twitter spaces where you have access to the team and the founders for all of our shareholders. Ask me anything all week, the whole time.
Yep.
Which is really, super transparent. And then that 10% dividends that we're doing monthly. Just because technology has kind of allowed us to do this now, we can actually say, hey, as in-game revenue comes in, like as we do better and better, we're going to pull off App Store fees. We pull off but then there's 10% of that after App Store fees. Literally just every month we're cutting it to shareholders as dividends. And so we have this immediate ROI because I really wanted to honor our shareholders. Like if I wanted to ask them to go do something altruistic, they all say no. But if I can say, here's the ROI, and then this is the immediate ROI, and then later the secondary ROI is that monopoly that we get. So we've done something altruistic because most of our shareholders aren't going to have the same faith that I have, but I want them to do the things I want them to do. This is the game theory.
Yeah.
So we applied game theory to everybody, not just the players.
Yeah.
And this is this is where we landed. They'll always choose this.
Right. Really briefly, what is game theory?
It's getting people to make a choice that they feel like they won, right? And so I'll give you an example. If I go to Vegas, I play the house. If I lose 4,000, they win 4,000. It's called zero sum, meaning if you total those, it's zero.
Right.
So because we're actually applying a Nash equilibrium into game theory, we can actually say if
Applying a what? I'm sorry.
a Nash equilibrium. It's
Nash
It's a
equilibrium.
mathematical formula where I'm saying, hey, I've got an investor, I've got a game player, I've got a person that's in a poor economy, I've got like all these different actors.
Okay.
So I need all these actors to make these specific choices. And even if I were to reveal the underworkings of all the reasons they made that decision, they would still make the same decision because they're like, in the end of it, I feel like I won.
Okay.
And so that's where you just apply
That's the
that.
Sounds like a free market.
That's the Nash equilibrium is finding that place where they feel like they won and they do it again.
Well, also one other thing, there's the productivity quotient. Because we're bringing in a value exchange that's occurring with the people that are in poverty, we're actually giving them something that's incredible.
Right.
But we're actually receiving something back.
Yes.
And then they actually add productivity as they enter the world economic stage.
Right.
So it actually expands everybody's, mathematical formula over time.
Wow.
So I can only give up to $50,000 on Gravity Jack on the Start Engine. So you guys have different tiers. 348's the smallest tier, all the way up to 50,000. What if you guys had $1 million investor come in?
We
they
put them in
the
touch
Start
with a
Engine.
direct contact.
Yeah.
With Start Engine,
Yeah.
and they process that.
Yeah.
Does Start Engine get a cut off the investment, or they get a cut off your company?
They get a percentage, an amount of the offering. So that's why it's so rigorous to get into Start Engine. Where Kickstarter, you pay $100, you're on there.
Yeah.
Start Engine is putting their name behind it.
Yeah.
If you're on that platform, they say, okay, we've looked at them, we've vetted them, we agree with this. We actually want to be an investor in them.
Yeah.
And so Start Engine, and they have their own community of investors because it's a platform. It's an investment platform.
Yep.
They do a really good job of not showing any favoritism though. And some of the methods and ways that they do that is we as a company on the platform have to reach certain milestones before Start Engine will send it to their investment groups.
Right.
So they've done a really good
So
job.
what's the timeline?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
When do I get to play this game?
Well,
as soon as we raise the money, the faster we raise, the faster
As
it's
soon as
out.
I invest,
It's
less than 5 years apparently.
Oh yeah. Realistically, we hope. Let's say the raise goes as we hope.
Yep.
We want to release a kind of preview app for the Apple Vision Pro in January, and that'll just kind of show some of the gameplay. It's just really light. It's showing some of the overlay mechanisms, and there won't really be many game mechanics. The preview, December though, or even. Yeah, possibly December. We'd actually already have the student AI done for Oral Roberts University. That's one of our first tasks.
Okay.
And then summer of 2024 is the actual goal for launching the MVP of the game. And Jen's just glaring at me. That's why I'm not looking at her.
Remove all of that. No, I don't like sticking to calendar dates because it's
Vision.
yeah.
Strategy.
The timeline is going to change depending on when the funding comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's critical. Some people have like an MVP that they launched, which means minimum viable product, but you need to come out of the gate
Strong.
It's
Yeah.
strong.
Strong.
So I would say an MVP would be more like seeing a couple methods or a couple of like that portal coming out or some of those fun things, but not actual creating an account, having gameplay. I mean, that's a long.
What's the goal? The fundraising goal?
5 billion. It actually will show it as 1.2. That's because you have to go through a second tier of verification.
Okay.
You usually don't do that until you've raised like up to the 1. So it'll be 5 where we end up with. And then we'll likely go do a larger round with this. We're not likely. We're headed to Singapore next month.
Yeah.
So tying this in, so that a total will be 10. So we'll probably do 5. It is possible that we could actually get all the way to monetization with 5, but I'd rather have buffer. So we're going to do another 5, and if we don't do it on Start Engine, we'll do it with larger investors that we meet with.
The games are expensive. I mean, if you
Yeah.
just look up some of them,
Right.
oh yeah,
it
there's.
takes to kick them off.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
Oh, this is amazing. So startengine.com,
Interesting.
sign up.
Yep.
Gravity Jack. When you go search Gravity Jack, you see it right there. You can start investing.
I just want to say one thing. It's fun to have like corporate partners come in
Yes.
Man.
into our studio, and you guys are working hard and trying to innovate. I love getting into the video game space. It's a worldwide opportunity, because it's not just tied into America. It's anybody, like we've already been discussing, and love that you guys are continuing to take risks. This is risk,
Right.
and it's I hope like the Christian economy grows, and I hope that these kind of things do well, and I hope our people get involved in these, where they're comfortable in these kind of investments.
Well, yeah, everybody I've seen, especially on the conservative side, are so afraid of AI. They're running from it, and the left is running to it.
Right.
And
which is why ChatGPT is so woke.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And everybody's complaining about it, but ain't nobody building. That's why I love what you guys are doing. It's like, wait a second. This is God's world.
Yeah.
This is his stuff.
How do we harness
How do we harness it for the glory of God and not in fear, but in faith? And so this is the direction we need to be going. And I'm excited about that. All right. You have to.
Yeah. Got something?
I just had one thing to say.
Please.
This hit me a few weeks ago. Before we even finished the AI natural language processing engines, and I was reading Matthew 24:14, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. And I don't know where I stand on a lot of theology, but let's just say we're 2 years out. The game is launched. We have worldwide distribution. We're in every spot on the planet. We may not be able to translate the whole word of God, but what is the gospel? What is the good news? What's the short form version of the good news of Jesus' death and resurrection? And all, I don't know. I have a couple of years to figure that out, but we can actually do a worldwide quest for every language. And for the first time in history ever, have a message that goes out to the whole planet, translated to their native tongue. And I want it to glorify God. Obviously, it's going to be we're going to put the gospel, like the Gutenberg printing the Bible for the first, this first time since Babylon that the language has been said one thing, and it'll be the gospel. That's the plan. Right. That's it. Hit me a few weeks ago. And I'm like, let's do that.
That's the mission that Jesus gave the disciples at the end of Matthew. In Matthew 28, he says, "All authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, go."
Yeah.
Preach the gospel to all the nations, disciple them, teach them everything that I commanded you. And it starts with
baptize your kids.
There's all sorts of lateral plays off this.
Seriously,
It's really
absolutely. Let me read this ad because we don't forget our other corporate sponsor, Classical Conversations, supports homeschooling parents by cultivating the love of learning through a Christian worldview and fellowship with other families. I'm just thinking, suddenly you've got me thinking about
all this is connected.
Your game. And I'm like, how does Classical Conversations get into this? Robert Bortons, let's talk about this. They provide classical, Christ-centered curriculum, local, like-minded communities across the United States and in several countries around the world. They train parents who are then striving to be great classical educators in the home. For more information, to get connected, visit their website today at classicalconversations.com. Again, that's classicalconversations.com. I'm pretty sure that God has AI and AR in mind for Christian education.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Okay, so we want people to go to startengine.com, sign up, and then invest in Gravity Jack, right? Yep. Okay, so that's the
go to Gravity Jack, and then you see there's a thing there that says WarTribe of Binyamin.
Yeah,
invest now, and that create an account.
And then, from that invest now button. All right, and then we want everybody to tell their friends about it as well, right? That's right.
Everybody.
First of all, I want this game. That's what I want. I want to play this game. Thank you guys so much for coming on Cross Politics. Appreciate you guys and what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Until next time, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politics. I started sounding like Sammy Davis Jr. Go baptize him, man. Yeah.
Just go.
Boing, boing.
Just go.
I'm David Reese, Chief Executive Officer of Armored Republic. We've been around for over a decade, serving you now, trying to provide tools of liberty to free men to be able to resist tyrants and criminals to the honor of Christ. And we've created a lot of content to help you to understand products, to help you to understand how bullets get stopped, and you've seen a lot of cool things. But we've decided it's time to share some of what we have internally. A lot of people ask us what it is that we're about, what it is we're trying to accomplish, and the name captures what we're trying to accomplish. Armored Republic is the idea that we want to see our republic armored. We want it to be hardened. We want it to be defensible. We want to guard, watch, keep, preserve, maintain the things that have been attained to. And so guarding that is a part of this armoring. We believe that if we can provide armor to you, if we can equip you, if we can give you knowledge, if we can help you to resist the nonsense that's dominant in the spirit of the age, and if you have all of that, we've equipped you with tools of liberty. Tools of liberty includes intellectual ammunition. It includes the skill to be able to resist. It includes body armor itself, plate carriers, belts, IFAKs to be able to heal up, stitch up, to be able to stop the bleed. Right? These are the things that we're trying to get to you. Now, as we think about that, a part of what's happened is there's sort of this sense in which there's a feeling of the tearing of the fabric of society. And so people don't know what it is that they should be doing. They don't know what to do, what to guard, where to gather. We want to encourage you to be able to gather free men who know what liberty is, who know that liberty is not a license to do wickedness, but it is the power to do righteousness in the face of tyrants and criminals. It is the ability to say no, and it's the ability to say yes to the right things. It's the ability to build. You need sword and trowel. You have to be able to put things together. So what we're trying to do now is trying to communicate more and more what it is to armor the Republic. And in addition to that, what is a Republic that we're guarding and trying to build? Republic's not just another word for democracy, which is the rule of the people. The rule of the people is two wolves and a sheep voting who's for dinner. If you have a pure democracy, all you're going to do is vote on who to kill, and you're going to vote on whose wallet to pick. That's not what America is about. America is a republic if we can keep it. The Constitution attempts to capture the God-given rights that we receive as a heritage. It recognizes them. It does not give them. It does not grant them, but it rather establishes a clear public recognition of the rights that we have. What we are trying to do is to help to educate and strengthen and unite a movement to see that liberty does not perish from the land. This is Armored Republic. And in a republic, there is no king but Christ.